Hi, and welcome to L.I.F E, the show that caters to indie filmmaking. I am your host, George Vincent, and today we have the pleasure of talking with Andre McCoy, stunt performer and actor, also known in the industry as Chyna. His body of work includes movies like The Matrix Reloaded, The One, The Time Machine, and so much more. Welcome to the show, Chyna, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Let's jump right in. Tell us a little bit about your background. Where were you born?
It'll surprise a lot of people. I was born in Seville, Spain.
Oh, wow.
Yes. My father was military.
And when did you come to the U.S.?
As a baby. He brought me back and moved to the East Coast. And I grew up on the East Coast before I decided to hit California. New York, D.C., and Baltimore.
Oh, wow, you got around.
Started early.
Wow.
But it was great because the fact that my father always was military, so we were always moving. But I never realized how that would pay off in my future. Of course, we'll get to that, but
all right.
We'll get to that.
When did you come to L.A.?
Came to L.A. in '94. Went to Phoenix to do bodyguard work, to learn how to defend movie stars. And that kind of fell through with the company, and then I still stayed in Arizona. That's where we went. And then I was like, you know what? It's time to go back to Cali. And came back to Cali and never left unless I booked a job.
I have to say this. I'm going back to Cali. To Cali.
I think so.
Enough said.
Right.
So what inspired you to pursue acting and stunt work?
I grew up on comic books, cartoons, kung fu movies, Japanese anime. So I was the nucleus of what people love today. We were the beginning. So we didn't have DC Comics, we had Detective Comics. And then a lot of our comics were in the Sunday paper. So running around kicking, jumping, flipping, drawing comics and all that, all that creativity was always in me. And my father instilled it more. So he bought me paintbrushes, stencils, anything, took me to the Baltimore School of the Arts. And when I heard that, wow, there's a place that I could go and I could fight and not get in trouble and get paid and I can say what I want and people will film me, I was like, where is this place at? And it was like, Hollywood. I was like, what's Hollywood? And I used to get a lot of bodybuilding magazines, and I was like, oh, look at this place. It's called Venice Beach. It's so cool.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to Hollywood. So I left my job, walked off. I was working on the dealership. I left the job, hopped on the Greyhound bus, came to Cali. As soon as I got off the bus and walked right onto Venice Beach, I got filmed for a magazine.
Which one?
It was a fitness magazine. I still have it. March 1994.
Those were the days of Arnold, I would imagine.
Arnold and all those.
Yeah, Joe Weider.
Yes.
I love it.
And that's when Muscle Beach actually had steel weights.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Great time. That was a great time. What was your first audition like?
I didn't even understand what an agent or manager was. And there was a movie called Low Down Dirty Shame with Keenan Ivory Wayans. When I came to California, I didn't know anybody, so I was sleeping on the beach. Had my little duffel bag, living on the beach. Life was grand. It was always summer, you know. Sunny California, that held true in the 90s. Anyway, they came down to Venice to shoot. I saw them filming, so I went over to the set and I was like, hey, what are y'all doing? Clearly it was obvious, but I didn't know that. I was new. They were like, we're making a movie. I was like, good, that's what I came here for, so put me in your movie. They were like, the first AD was just like laughing, and she goes, well, where's your pictures, you know? I was like, for what? I'm standing right here. She was like, no, there's a process. You have to go to this place, right? And you got to have a picture, and it's called Central and Cynics. And you go there, and I didn't know at the time Central and Cynics was the biggest casting agency for extras at the time. And I was like, all right, I'll go get a picture. So I ran out to the boardwalk. I said, hey. We had Polaroid camera. Picture came out, flapped it, took it back to the first AD. I said, here's my picture. She was like, oh my gosh, you're too funny. And one of the stunt coordinators and doubles for Keenan, Billy Washington, was there. And he's like, hey, what's your name? And I said, Chyna. He goes, you're pretty funny. And he said, what are you doing? I said, I live on the beach, so I came here to make movies. And so when I told him my story, he was like, you know what, I'm gonna give you a job. And he actually gave me a job doing cooking and craft service, helping out craft service, and I got paid. So that was my first experience with the industry that way.
Okay.
And then my first audition was for Bicentennial Man.
Whoa, okay.
And I didn't know what that was either because, you know, this lady had a flat tire on the side of the freeway, helped her change it. She was an agent in Beverly Hills. She goes, "You got a good look, take my card." She goes, "I'm a manager, agent," but I was like, all right. Went up there, saw her, met her. She got my information. Didn't think nothing of it. Next thing you know, I got a phone call. "Hey, we want you to go audition for a movie called Bicentennial Man." And when I went there, I didn't know what audition was. The lady said, "Say this, and here's a paper, read from it, and then do the lines." And I did it.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, she called me and said, "You booked it. You know, we'll let you know when we shoot." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So
You got the job.
yeah, but I couldn't fully grasp it. So it was interesting that my reaction to I got the job was kind of like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of my life was on Muscle Beach. So I was always being filmed. I was always being recorded. I was working on Baywatch, Pacific Blue, all these shows as an extra while I was living on the beach.
Let me ask you about your stage name, Chyna. Mm-hmm. How did that come about?
A lot of times people would want to book me for parts that had to do with like action or kung fu, and they would always say, "Man, you like a Chinese monk." You know, so when I was younger, you know, that's what they said I looked like. So they would always call me Chinaman or Chyna. It just stuck.
It just stuck. Chyna, you've done stunts for many actors, including Lawrence Fishburne for the Matrix movie.
That is an interesting story. I was more fascinated that I got to go there and meet Wu Ping. Lawrence Fishburne, before I even knew I was going to be on The Matrix, I ran into him on Venice Boulevard. And then I ran into him again on Sidewalk Cafe in Venice. So I got to talk to him 2 different times. I didn't know weeks later
That you would be
working on the movie that he was starring in.
meant to be.
Yeah, and Wachowski brothers were funny. They love comic books, they love kung fu movies, they love cartoons. That's all we talked about. And they love the Chicago Bulls. Like, "Chyna, so did you see this movie? Did you see that movie?" Or even before Matrix Reloaded happened, they was like, "Man, you ready for Chinatown? Or we gonna get it?" And so they were very high energy,
Okay.
but very introverted. But if you were kind of in the realm that they were, like animes and stuff like that, they were like big kids. It was amazing just to watch them work. And they would work in like, you know, like a dance, you know, and they could finish each other's sentences.
Really?
You know, they would turn the camera one way and the other brother would catch it another way and be like, done. It was flawless. They had a rare connection as far as like, especially on something creative or something as big as a movie like that. You know, there's always button heads, but those two never did.
And what about Lawrence Fishburne? How was that interaction? Anything that's memorable?
Lawrence was his own person. You know what I mean? I think a lot of it came from his upbringing in Hollywood, his theater career. So he's very stoic and he's very, you know, he's very Lawrence. You know what I mean? He's very
Professional.
Yeah, he does things just to himself a lot. Where Keanu was very like, "Hey guys," and Keanu's everywhere, right? Super personal. So everybody had their own personalities. You know what I mean? But it was fun doubling him. Yeah, it was interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any specific story that comes to mind?
There was one story. I was supposed to be off, right? I was off. I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna travel around Sydney. I'm gonna tear up the city, go eat this, and I'm gonna ride my bike here," because everything was like downtown. You could just go everywhere. And I was supposed to be off. Then I get a phone call. "Chyna, we need you to come to set." But I'm off. They're like, "Yeah, we know, but we need you for this scene." I was like, "Okay." I get to the set. As I'm coming in, they're carrying someone out who looks like me. I'm like, "What the heck?" There's blood all on him. So,
Real blood.
yeah. Come to find out, the bathroom scene. Remember that scene in The Matrix?
Yes.
Where Lawrence comes to the wall and down on top of Agent Smith? Well, I guess they built the wall, and he went to go through the wall, and it was too thick.
Oh no.
So like, oh crap, we gotta change it. Then they made it a little thinner, then he went through the wall and only halfway out. They're like, oh crap. So then it's like, okay, they had to readjust the wall. And then it was like action. Then it was like, he went over the wall, went over Agent Smith's head and hit the floor.
Ooh.
And so when I came in, I did the stunt and action, land on Agent Smith. That was it. And I was just like, why y'all ain't just call me? That's what I was here for.
Oh, wow.
But I guess it was convenient at the time, I guess, since I was off, and I guess they decided to do this scene, they were like, okay, we need somebody to do the scene real quick, Chyna's off. So the other stunt guy was like, oh, I got a guy who can do it right now, he's right here. And they just painted him up and threw him in there.
Was he a stuntman?
Yeah.
Wow, just a bad day then.
I guess it was a bad day for him, good day for me. Because I went in there and did it in one take.
You also worked on another great film with some amazing martial artists. It was called The One with Jet Li and Jason Statham.
Those are my stunt days. Jet Li was intense, but I already knew about Jet Li because of Wu Ping. So all that, they were all connected because Wu Ping got Jet Li started, Jackie Chan, Donnie Yen, he's the one that brought them and got their careers going. And Jet Li was like, whew. However you saw him in the movies, when he fought, that's how he was in real life.
Wow.
He was intense.
Is it easier or is it more challenging working with pros like that?
Easier.
Okay, how so?
Because they're so good at what they do, even if you make a mistake, they know how to instantly adjust. So the example, like if I'm doing choreography with you and we're doing something and I make you fight against someone else and we're in the scene together, I can easily adjust because that's all I do, that's all I know.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it more easier to still make the scene look good, even if you don't come all the way through with a punch. I know how to turn just a little bit to the camera, or tweak my body.
There you go.
I'd be like, okay, the punch is coming, it's not gonna sell, let me just kind of slide over, but still act in the scene.
Right.
So when you fight against Jet Li, he knows his stuff.
What was your most difficult stunt that you had to perform?
To be honest, I never worked on a project where the stunt was difficult. Even on The Matrix, I was flying around on the bottom of a helicopter and all that stuff. That was just like an experience.
Yeah, that's you saying that. Most people would find that terrifying.
If I just grew up on kung fu movies and anime and like I live for that. If I'm jumping off roofs and flipping on mattresses down the alley into the street and we're flipping on, that's all I know. So doing something like that is my world. So for me, it's not hard. Just tell me, how do we do it?
Amazing.
And what do you want? All right, let's get it. We'll figure it out.
What advice would you give your younger self?
Never quit. Because I learned like all my years in the industry from the 90s up till now, I never knew how to just give up. You know, we kind of talked about a little earlier, like some people come in with the 5-year plan or, well, if I don't get it in 5 or 10 years, I'm out of here. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, how could you even give yourself a limit? Don't quit, because it's always that moment, man. You can be like, you know what, I'm 56, I'm 57, I'm 58. Forget about it, I'm done. And then the call comes, but you already left.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of people check out here first.
That's where it starts.
And that's, you've already lost.
You're already lost.
Now it's time for George's This or That. These are quick responses. All right, Chyna, here we go.
All right.
Vanilla or chocolate?
Vanilla.
Facebook or X?
Facebook.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Comedy or drama?
Comedy.
Boots or sneakers?
Boots.
Meat or veggies?
Veggies.
Classical music or pop music?
Classical.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
LA or New York?
New York.
Ooh. Indie film or blockbuster?
Indies.
Chyna, thank you for just taking time to share with us today all your experiences. It's been nothing but a pleasure.
Man, thank you.
I wish you continued success.
You as well.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll be working on the same movie one day.
All right. Thank you all for watching L.I.F E. Please follow us on Instagram and YouTube and smash that like button. Till next time, take care.